Doctors advise that after the age of 70, you should walk less and concentrate on these 5 activities to protect your strength and balance. What if increasing the amount of time you spend walking is not the solution after the age of 70 and may even be preventing you from reaching your full potential? For many years, we have been advised to walk more in order to maintain our health. However, a growing number of medical professionals are coming forward with a different message. After the age of 70, you should reduce the amount of walking you do and begin concentrating on activities that are genuinely beneficial to your health. This does not imply that walking is dangerous. What this indicates is that your body has various requirements at this point in your life. And if you are still relying on long walks as your primary form of exercise, you may be losing out on the 5 elements that are considered to be the most important contributing factors. How long do you maintain your strength, stability, and sharpness? In this video, we are going to discuss 5 fundamental behaviors that are more important than walking until you reach the age of 70. It is not a matter of speculation, rather, these are supported by the most recent findings in the fields of aging, mobility, brain health, and long-term independence. Listen carefully to the very end because shifting your attention to these 5 areas could improve the quality of your life, protect you from injuries, and even help you live for a longer period of time. Now, let's get started. First and foremost, strengthening your legs with resistance training. One of the most widespread misconceptions about getting older is the notion that walking by yourself can help you maintain healthy legs. Despite the fact that walking is beneficial, it is not sufficient to stop the natural acceleration of muscle loss that occurs after the age of 70. According to the reality, in order for your legs to remain stable, functioning, and dependable, they require resistance, or something to push against. If you do not have it, even if you walk for an hour every day, you may still experience a loss of strength in the muscles that are responsible for keeping you healthy and upright. Just consider George, who was 76 years old at the time and used to walk 3 miles every morning without fail. Because he was so proud of his regimen, he believed that it was the reason he was in such good shape. After some time had passed, however, he began to experience difficulty rising from low chairs. Stairs made him feel unsteady in his legs. Subsequently, he fell while attempting to get a book that was located on a low shelf. Something that he had never heard before was explained to him by his physician. It is not possible to activate or strengthen all of the primary leg muscles that are required for stability by walking. Yes, George possessed endurance, but what about strength? Those were slipping away from me. Activating the muscles that are responsible for supporting your hips, thighs, and knees is absolutely necessary. Specifically, this refers to exercises such as squats using the body's own weight, sitting leg lifts, resistance bends, and standing heel raises. It is not necessary for you to go to a gym or try to lift hefty weights. Performing light, strength-building activities even just 2 or 3 times per week can make a significant difference in one's level of fitness. What is essential is maintaining consistency and selecting exercises that work the muscles in both the front and the back of your legs. Because the truth is that when your legs remain strong, you tend to remain powerful as well. You walk upright and self-assured. There is no effort required to rise. You prevent falls from occurring in the first place. With a stronger foundation, you will be able to keep your independence for a longer period of time. Although walking is beneficial to your heart, strength is what keeps you on your feet. Therefore, if you have been avoiding weight training because you believed that walking was sufficient, it is time to ensure that your legs receive the additional care that they have deserved. They have been your support throughout your entire life, and they are deserving of the encouragement to keep going strong. Exercising your balance and coordination comes in at number 2. Balance is one of the aspects of health that is usually neglected after the age of 70. In the event that you continue to walk on a daily basis, you can conclude that your equilibrium is in good shape. However, this is not all the time the case. Walking has a cadence that is predictable. It is done with one foot in front of the other, frequently on level ground. and typically in an environment that is familiar to the individual. However, achieving a balance in real life demands something more: the capacity to respond, to make adjustments, and to maintain composure in the face of unforeseen circumstances. Additionally, if you are not directly practicing for it, you can be losing that advantage without even being aware of it. What about Helen, who is 80 years old? As she walked around the block every day, she felt a sense of pride. She moved fluidly, maintained a nice pace, and experienced very little fatigue. However, Helen lost her balance and collapsed when her granddaughter dropped a ball in the kitchen by accident, and the ball slid close to her feet. This was not due to the fact that she was feeble or clumsy, due to the fact that her body had not been trained to recover from quick shifts in position. She experienced this, despite the fact that she was unaware of it. Her coordination was beginning to deteriorate. Training for balance can be both straightforward and effective. While brushing your teeth, standing on one leg, strolling heel to toe along a corridor, or performing mild exercises such as Tai Chi or controlled marching in place are all great ways to strengthen your muscles. You will strengthen the smaller muscles in your hips and ankles by engaging in these routines. In addition, they reorganize your brain so that it can react more swiftly in the event that anything unexpected occurs. An instance in which you trip over a rug, fail to take a step, or turn too rapidly while walking. Training your balance helps you maintain your upright position rather than falling down. The most important thing is to incorporate it into your weekly routine. Instead of only hoping that your equilibrium is fine, you should really test it and work to improve it, mainly due to the fact that falls are the leading cause of major injuries among those aged 70 and older. And they are not necessarily the result of a lack of strength. They are frequently the result of a brief moment in which control was lost. For this reason, walking by oneself is not sufficient. In order to teach your body how to adjust, recover, and maintain stability, you need to engage in movements. No matter what challenges life presents you with, it is important to question oneself when the last time was that you stood on one foot, or rotated at a rapid pace without making any attempt to grab something. There is no childishness in these games. These are skills that can save lives. Additionally, the more you train them now, the greater the likelihood that you will avoid the kind of fall that could take you several months or even years to recover from. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. The third point is the protection of joints through low-impact athletic activity. As we get older, the weight of each stride is greater for our joints to bear. For decades, humans have endured a great deal of movement, effort, and wear. But despite the fact that walking has its advantages, walking for an excessive amount of time, particularly on surfaces that are hard, can gradually wear away the cartilage in your knees, hips, and ankles. After the age of 70, it is not enough to just move more. It is about moving more intelligently. And for many people who are in their later years, one of the most significant adjustments they can make is to reduce the burden of repetitive motions and switch to movements that are easier on the joints. Take for example Martin, who is now 73 years old and used to walk 5 kilometers around his neighborhood every day. His favorite routine was the one he did. However, as time went on, he started to experience pain in his knees. As soon as he stood up, he began to hear an increasing number of cracking sounds. As the stairs grew more difficult, he eventually stopped walking altogether. To a certain extent, not because he desired to, but because it was painful. It came as a surprise to him when his physician informed him that the issue was not his activity but rather the manner in which he was performing it. Taking long walks on concrete with joints that are stiff, the cartilage, which is already aging, is being subjected to a gradual and regular stress. When you reach the age of 70, low-impact movement becomes increasingly important. Activities such as light stretching, swimming, water aerobics, or cycling on a recumbent bicycle are examples of exercises. A bike can help you stay mobile without putting unnecessary strain on your joints. Even relatively straightforward activities, such as hip circles, seated mobility exercises, or stretching on the floor, can provide relief and flexibility without the wear and tear that would be caused by a lengthy walk on hard concrete. Not only should you continue to move, but you should do so in a manner that takes into account the structure of your body as you get older. On the other hand, this does not imply that you must completely cease walking. To put it another way, it is not the only sort of activity you should engage in. In particular, you should not do it without first providing your joints with the love and attention they require. As part of this, you should warm up before engaging in any activity. Wear shoes that provide adequate support and cushioning. Steer clear of slopes and uneven surfaces if they cause discomfort. And pay close attention to what is being spoken when your body is sending signs of discomfort, rather than simply pushing through the discomfort. Despite the fact that their joints are quietly pleading for a break or at the very least a change. A great number of people continue to walk despite the fact that they are under the impression that they are doing the right thing. Not only does endurance play a role in longevity, but preservation is also a key factor. In addition, if you want your knees, hips, and ankles to continue to carry you well into your 80s and 90s, you need to treat them as if they were essential components of your body. Walking less doesn't mean giving up. It means developing. In addition, your joints will be grateful to you the entire time you are doing it. The stimulation of the brain by deliberate mental activity comes in at number 4. When people hear the phrase, health, the majority of them immediately think of physical exercise, particularly after the age of 70. However, what many people fail to realize is that your brain is also a muscle, and it requires the same amount of daily attention as the rest of your body. There is a possibility that walking will keep your heart rate up, but it will not test your intellect in the same way that focused mental activity will. In addition, disregarding the importance of brain stimulation is one of the most significant errors that older citizens may make if they wish to maintain their mental acuity, alertness, and resilience. By way of illustration, take Barbara, 79. She went for a walk first thing in the morning, read the newspaper, and made sure to keep up with her housework. However, she became aware of something distressing. It was becoming increasingly difficult for her to remember what she had planned for the day. She was forgetting names more frequently, and she was losing track of conversations. A question that she did not anticipate was posed to her physician when she brought it up to him. "Please tell me about the most recent time you gained new knowledge." She continued to think about the question, because her brain was perpetually operating on autopilot, despite the fact that her body was constantly moving. The truth is that in order to maintain its health, your brain does require novelty, effort, and challenge. You can stimulate parts of your brain that haven't been utilized for years by engaging in activities such as learning a new card game, experimenting with a new recipe, writing a letter by hand, or even learning a few phrases in a different language. Also, it is not about doing things flawlessly, rather, it is about doing it in an active manner, building cognitive reserves, which can help delay or even avoid the signs of mental decline. Can be accomplished by engaging your memory, your logic, your creativity, and your attention span. The body of research is likewise expanding at a rapid rate, demonstrating that engaging in purposeful mental activity on a consistent basis can ameliorate mood, boost energy levels, and lessen the likelihood of developing depression, a condition that is frequently misdiagnosed in older persons. Furthermore, in contrast to walking, which can become monotonous and uninteresting, mental activity compels your brain to grow and adapt to new situations. Therefore, if you find that your days consist of the same routines, such as watching the same shows, performing the same tasks, and reading the same headlines, it is time to spice things up. Consider taking on a challenge by doing something that is just a little bit outside of your comfort zone, such as memorizing a poem, picking up a puzzle, or joining a discussion group. Considering that a healthy brain is not constructed through routine, but rather through curiosity, attention, and effort, it is constructed. On the other hand, the more you give your brain what it wants, the more it will reward you in the years to come with clarity, confidence, and connection. I would appreciate it if you could use the fourth comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. Support for the cardiovascular system through posture and respiration is the fifth point. There is a possibility that posture and breathing appear to be too basic to make a significant effect at first glance. On the other hand, as you reach the age of 70, these two peaceful habits have a significant part in maintaining your heart, brain, and overall essentiality. Even if you walk every day, you can still find that you do not have enough energy, that you are out of breath, or that you are experiencing lightheadedness. As a matter of fact, your muscles are not always the cause. It is frequently the way in which you hold your body and how you breathe. Nobody ever taught the majority of senior citizens how to take deep breaths. Because of this, shallow chest breathing and a slouched posture become automatic over time, which reduces the amount of oxygen that is taken in and puts additional strain on the heart. Take for example Leonard, who is 78 years old. He believed that his shortness of breath was a result of getting older. Not only did he not smoke, but he also did not have any weight issues, and his walking regimen had not changed in years. However, the therapist discovered something unusual when the patient was participating in physical therapy following a minor surgical procedure. Throughout his life, Leonard's shoulders were always rounded forward, his chest was always collapsed, and his breathing was always short and rapid bursts. For years, he had been walking with a posture that was not very good. However, it came out that his oxygen levels were decreasing as he was walking, which caused his heart to work harder than it should have been. In just a few short weeks, his vitality returned thanks to some straightforward breathing exercises and alignment therapy. Deep, belly-centered breathing, also known as diaphragmatic breathing, is extraordinarily effective for this reason. It stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, which enables you to maintain a state of calm, concentration, and adequate oxygenation. Your blood pressure will also decrease, and your circulation will improve as a result. When you combine this with a decent posture, shoulders back, chin level, and a tall spine, you create the ideal environment for your heart and lungs to function effectively. Particularly when you are moving around in your daily life, the goal is not to achieve a certain appearance, rather, it is to make room within your chest so that your organs may perform their functions without being affected by compression. In addition, the most essential aspect is that this particular type of breathing and posture practice may be performed at any time and in any particular location. When you are seated, standing, lying down in bed, or even when you are walking. Consistency, not perfection, is the purpose of this endeavor. It is possible to completely alter how you feel by the time you reach the evening by performing posture checks throughout the day. Practicing 5 minutes of deep breathing in the morning, and gently stretching your upper back and chest. Even though these workouts are not particularly showy, they provide the foundation for vitality, calmness, and ease of cardiovascular function. Therefore, the next time you find yourself feeling exhausted or sluggish, even after engaging in physical activity, you shouldn't simply blame your age. Not only should you pay attention to how you are sitting, but also how you are standing, and most importantly, how you are breathing. I say this because there are times when the most significant factor in determining how long and how well you live is not the distance you walk, but rather the amount of air you breathe while you are standing still. Lastly, some thoughts. Sermons delivered by Eskimo. It is time for you to take some time to think about what these 5 fundamental shifts imply for you now that you have heard them. Walking is useful, but after the age of 70, your health is dependent on more than simply the number of steps you take. The strength in your legs, the steadiness of your balance, the care you provide to your joints, the focus you give to your head, and the air that you allow yourself to breathe within its whole are all factors that will determine the outcome. There is a connection between each of these aspects and the length of time you will live. And more importantly, the quality of life you will experience while you are still here. There are a lot of people who continue to act in the same way they always have, without being aware that their bodies have altered. You are not the same person you were when you were 50 or even 60 years old. There is no reason to be concerned about that. Something worthy of respect is this: your body has become more experienced, more sensitive in certain aspects, and more powerful in other aspects. At this point, it requires a new kind of care. Person who is attentive, a person who can adapt. I am not merely attempting to keep myself occupied. As the saying goes, my goal is to maintain my health. Therefore, if you have been walking every day and are wondering why your knees hurt, why your energy levels drop, or why your balance seems a bit off, it is not your imagination. More than just mobility is what your body is requesting from you. This is a request for care that is tailored and deliberate. In addition, the good news is that you can begin providing care right away. One workout that focuses on balance. One session of deep breathing. There is one option to take a stand. Additionally, your body will remember it tomorrow. Continually. It does. We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. In the comment section below, please share one thing that you have learned today and how you intend to put it to use in your life. Happy learning. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.